Picture this. It's year 1932. A group of Australian soldiers armed with machine guns and rifles are engaged in a fierce battle with one of the most bizarre enemies. The enemies are thousands in number and are about 5.5 to 6 feet tall. Now, be ready to know exactly who the enemies are. They are an army of feathered creatures, a group of determined soldiers, the emus.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Yes, you heard it right. This may sound like the ridiculous plot of a comedy film, but this is a true story called the Emu War. A war fought against these flightless, slender birds was a strange record in Australian history. This is Nivipedia. Let's dig into this. Why are these soldiers trying to kill their native birds? After the end of the First World War, the country was going through economic hardships and unemployment. They couldn't provide pensions to the retired soldiers. To overcome this, the government introduced a soldier settlement scheme. Under the scheme, veteran soldiers were given land on which to farm with the aim of helping them to establish themselves financially and to contribute to the country's agricultural industry. The government believed that this would not only help the veterans but also provide a boost to the struggling economic condition in Australia. Now you may think, how is this related to the war against the emus? The main reason for this ridiculous war was the large flock of emus causing damage to the wheat crops and the farmlands. They were giving a lot of trouble to the farmers that they were even damaging the fences around the farm. This was causing heavy losses to the yield. The farmers complained about their losses to the government. They were in need of some weapons. Upon repeated requests, the Defense Ministry approved a deployment of skilled soldiers equipped with machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Yes, machine guns to kill birds, flightless birds. On November 2, 1932, the mighty Australian soldiers started their operation. Initially, the military had some success in killing the emus. However, the birds proved to be more elusive and difficult to shoot than anticipated. Many emus were able to outrun the bullets and the others were able to absorb multiple hits and continue running. The military soon realized that they were not making much progress. In fact, the birds seemed to be adapting to the gunfire and becoming more difficult to kill. During the conflict, the emus quickly learned to adapt to the soldiers' tactics and begin to avoid open areas where they can be easily targeted. They moved to more rugged and rocky areas which provided them cover and made it more difficult for the soldiers to attack them easily. By the end of that day, the soldiers had only killed a few emus and the operation was a failure. In the attempt of killing around 20,000 emus, they could kill only 50. After few days, again the soldiers attempted to control the emu population with better arrangements. On November 8th, they started their operation again. Just like the first attempt, the soldiers thought that they were getting success in killing them. But when calculated later, they came to know that they have killed not more than 1,000 emus. This war was considered to be a failure as it was causing heavy losses to the government. Of course, spending money on weapons to kill these birds is definitely not a good decision. Hence, the Aussies again failed in this war. After this failure, the government totally shifted their focus towards encouraging the civilians to hunt and kill the birds. They were provided with rifles and were rewarded based on the number of birds they kill. But this act was not accepted by the activists and environmentalists. They found this as a very cruel act by the government and common people to do this to their native birds. Hence, all the efforts to kill emus were finally dropped and their population dropped down naturally because they have relatively low productive rate and they are sensitive to changes in the environment. This Great Emu War of 1932 may seem like a strange and comical event, but this reflects the complex relationship between humans and the nature. Despite the best efforts of the Australian military, the emus proved to be a formidable opponent. Sometimes the nature will react back for whatever we do it, but the consequences will be more powerful. That is what happened in this Emu War. What do you think? Do you think the approach by the Australians was right? If you were in the position to control the emus, how you would have reacted? Let me know in the comments.